Hey, happy Turkey Day, everybody. It's your man Akin back on the scene giving you Week 13's key matchups and my predictions. I got a lot of games to talk about this week. Why? Because it's rivalry week. Yes, it's about time. The most anticipated week of the season. We're going to begin with tonight's game between my Texas Longhorns against A-G-G-I-E. What's that spell? More like, what's that smell? Texas A&M. Texas really needs to win this game in order to become bowl eligible. And they really need to beat their rival. If they lose to their rival Texas A&M, season's going to end up bad. They really need to win this game. A lot of pressure is on them. The key to victory for them is that they have to finish their drives with touchdowns and not settle for field goals. I believe that the Longhorn defense is good enough to stop Texas A&M's offense, led by quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who's coming back from a great year. So, if the Texas offense produces well and dominates on the offensive side of the ball, Texas will win. As a fan, I want Texas to win, but as an analyst, I gotta say Texas A&M is gonna win this game, and Texas will not make it to a bowl game. Sorry to say that, even as a Texas Longhorn fan. Sorry to say that. The next game to talk about is the backyard brawl between Pittsburgh and West Virginia. Pittsburgh is looking to stay ahead in the Big East. If they lose, there will be a three-way tie between West Virginia, Connecticut, and Pitt. Now, Connecticut beat both West Virginia and Pitt early in the season, so if Pitt loses, Connecticut could get a bump ahead in the BCS standings, but we will see. Now, both teams have great defenses, but I have to give West Virginia more of an edge because their defense is just a little more tight, a little more together as a unit. So even though the Mountaineers are a 3-point underdog, I'm going to go with West Virginia on this one. The next game to look at is my game of the week, the Iron Bowl between Auburn at Alabama. Alabama is holding to a 20-game home winning streak, and they're looking forward to spoil Auburn's season. Alabama will not make it to a national championship, but in order to spark the season up a little bit, why not beat their arch rival? The key road to victory for Alabama is that they have to stop Auburn's run, which is Auburn's specialty. If they stop the run and force more third and longs, making Cam Newton having to throw the ball instead of wanting to throw the ball, then Alabama should win. I'm going to go with an upset. This is going to be my upset pick of the week. I think the Crimson Tide is going to beat Auburn because their defense is third in the nation in points allowed, and they're playing at home, and they're looking to get the 21st home win. So, I'm going to go with Alabama on this one. Another matchup to look at is Colorado going to Lincoln to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This game is important because Nebraska needs to win this game in order to go to the Big 12 title. If they lose and Missouri wins their game, Missouri will play in the Big 12 title. So a lot is on the line. Also, these two teams have a great rivalry, and this will be the last season they'll play against each other because Colorado's going to the Pac-10 next season while Nebraska's going to the Big 10. So, a lot is on the line. Both teams want to leave their rivalry with the win. They just want to get that last laugh. But I think that Nebraska will get that last laugh because they just have a better team. The only thing they have to worry about is getting their offense back together. They scored a lot of points early in the season, but only scored 26 points in the last two games against non-ranked opponents, except for Texas A&M. They were held to 6 points. Taylor Martinez needs to get his act together and mature quickly and become a big leader for the team. I think that Nebraska's going to win this one. We will see, and I'm going to go with Nebraska as my pick. Another rivalry to talk about is the Big 12 South winner. Is the Big 12 South game between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Basically, the winner will play in the Big 12 championship, representing the South. So, the key matchup to look at is between the receivers Justin Blackman of Oklahoma State and Ryan Broyles of Oklahoma. I believe that whoever has the better game will lead the team to victory. So, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State because Brandon Wheaton, their quarterback, is having a great year, and he is a terrific passer. I have him as an honorable mention for first team All Big 12, but we will see. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State because I just think they have a better team and they're playing at home. the Cowboys all the way. Now I'm going to go through a list of other big rivalries. Michigan is playing at Ohio State, one of the probably the biggest rivalry. The reason why I'm not going to talk too much about it, because Ohio State's been owning Michigan for the past couple of seasons. So this is an easy pick for me. Buckeyes all the way. Next game to talk about is Virginia at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech should win this one and go to the ACC championship undefeated in their conference. So I'm going to go with Va Tech. Another game to look at is the Holy Grail matchup between BYU and Utah. Utah had a comeback victory last week, and I think they're going to win again. I'm going to go with the Utes. Another game is Georgia Tech at Georgia. This is a kind of a coin toss. I'm going to go with Georgia because it's at Georgia, and I think that the Bulldogs is going to just put some magic in and come up with the win. Other matchup is South Carolina at Clemson. I'm going to go with the Gamecocks on this one, going to the SEC championship with another win. And the Egg Bowl between Mississippi State and Mississippi. Mississippi had a good week last week. They lost last week to LSU, but they played well. I think they're going to come up with an upset. So I'm going to go with the upset with Ole Miss. So I have two. And I have Notre Dame at USC. I'm going to go with the Trojans because Notre Dame they haven't been consistent. So I'm going to go with USC. Now, a couple of other games to look at. They're not rivalry games, but they're important games to the season. I'm going to start with Arizona playing at Oregon. Oregon's #1 in the nation. Now, they need to do a lot better than what they did their last game against Cal. They were held to just 15 points. Arizona needs to use the same defensive scheme that Cal used. They need to have 5 defensive backs covering their receivers man-to-man. But the only problem is Cal has a better secondary than Arizona. And I think that Oregon has just too much speed on offense. I'm going to go with Oregon on this one, staying undefeated. One of the biggest games this week is Boise State at Nevada. This is probably Boise's hardest, most difficult challenge because most of the season they played a lot of easy teams, except at the beginning of the season against Va Tech. But this game is huge. It's basically for the WAC championship. If Boise wins, they will remain undefeated and have a chance to play for the national championship. This game's important before Boise, Oregon, and Auburn. Their games I'm talking about. Because if either of them loses, they will probably lose their chances to play for the national title. For the Boise State-Nevada game, I have to go with Boise. I think this is Kellen Moore's time to show why he should go to New York and be invited for the Heisman ceremony. So I'm going to go with Boise. I think Kellen Moore is going to have a great game. Thank you for watching today's show. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and God bless you and your families. Take care. I'm Akin. Be easy.